Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. So, you've just brought a new cat home. First off, congratulations. That's amazing. But as you know, it also comes with some pretty big responsibilities. Today, we're going to walk through the essential preventative care every new cat owner needs to know. And we'll do it through the eyes of someone who's seen it all, a seasoned cat foster parent. So, let's kick things off with a story that I think a lot of us can probably relate to. This quote, it just perfectly nails that feeling of, well, I'm just following instructions, you know? The author, during their very first time fostering, did exactly what they were told. Dropped the kittens off for their shots, checked it off the to-do list, and didn't really ask any questions. And then this happened. A hard little marble-sized lump right where the kitten got the shot. It actually took 3 whole months to go away, and that little lump was the spark that changed absolutely everything. It took the author from just blindly following the rules to learning how to ask the right and really critical questions. So let's start right where that whole journey began, vaccinations. This is one of the very first and, one of the most important decisions you're going to make for your new kitten. And trust me, there's a little more to it than you might think. Okay, first things first, the core vaccines. And just like the name says, these are the ones that are absolutely non-negotiable. The FVRCP shot protects your little one from 3 really nasty and potentially deadly viruses. And then you've got rabies, which is required by law in most places. And yes, that's even for cats that are never ever going to set a single paw outside. Now, this timeline here shows the standard game plan that most vets follow. It's basically a series of shots called boosters, and they're designed to build up a really strong immunity right at the time when the natural protection they got from their mom starts to wear off. But here's where it gets really interesting. This shows us that the standard way isn't the only way. For her own cats that live exclusively indoors, the author actually chooses a different approach, waiting until the immune system is a little more mature for a single round of shots. Now, the key point here isn't to ignore your vet's advice. Not at all. It's about having a real conversation to figure out the best plan for your specific cat and their lifestyle. All right, now for the big one, the rabies vaccine. It's not optional, it's mandatory. But how and where your cat gets that shot, well, those are choices you can make, and believe me when I say, they are incredibly important ones. This should be the very first question you ask your vet. And here's why it's such a big deal. While it's rare, some vaccines, especially the live ones, have been linked to these really aggressive cancers called injection site sarcomas. The killed vaccines have a much lower risk, so if it's an option, that's definitely the one you want to ask for. This might be the single most important question you ask all day. A lot of vets give shots in the scruff of the neck just because it's easier. But, and this is a big but, if one of those rare cancers does develop there, there's nothing that can be done. If it develops on a leg, the leg can be amputated, and that can save your cat's life. So you need to insist, right hind leg as low down as possible. And finally, ask about the booster schedule. Here's a little secret. The 1-year and the 3-year rabies vaccines are often the exact same formula. So if it's legal where you live, going for the 3-year shot just means fewer injections over your cat's lifetime, which means less risk and, of course, less stress for everyone. Okay, let's switch gears and dive into one of the most fundamental things you can do for your cat's health and happiness, getting them spayed or neutered. And it's not just about preventing more kittens. It's about preventing a whole bunch of health and behavior issues later on. And this table just lays out the tough choice a lot of owners have to make. Low-cost clinics do so much good, but the author makes a really strong case that if you can afford it, using your regular vet is the way to go. You're really paying for accountability if something goes wrong, a lower risk of your cat catching something, and just better overall care from a team that already knows your pet. And look, these risks aren't just theoretical. This is a real and just heartbreaking story from one of the author's colleagues in the cat rescue world. It's a really tough reminder that even though this is a routine surgery, things can still go wrong, especially in a place that's focused on high volume. Okay, so you've made it through the surgery. Phew. But now the real work actually begins. Your role in your cat's recovery for the next week or 2 is absolutely critical to make sure they heal up safely and smoothly. You should make this a part of your daily routine. It seriously only takes a second. A little bit of redness and swelling? Totally normal, but you have to know what isn't normal. If you see any of these danger signs, don't just wait and see what happens. You need to call your vet right away. I know this is a tough one for a lot of people. Your cat is going to start feeling better and wanting to jump and play way before their internal stitches are healed. Keeping them in a small bathroom or a big crate isn't being mean. It is literally what prevents them from ripping those stitches open, which is a real medical emergency. You've also got to be on the lookout for signs that your cat isn't bouncing back from the anesthesia very well. Most cats are kind of groggy for a day, that's fine. But if it goes on longer, or if you see these other signs, that's a red flag. And here's the most important part. If your cat has not eaten a single bite by the 3rd day after surgery, that is not a normal recovery. That's a call the vet now situation. And here is a number you'll want to remember after your cat is all healed up. Spaying and neutering actually changes a cat's metabolism. So to prevent that super common problem of them gaining weight after the surgery, you'll probably need to cut back their daily food by about 25%. So we've talked about vaccines, we've talked about surgery, recovery. What's the one thing that ties all of this together? Well, it's really about a fundamental shift in how you see your role as a pet owner. And this right here, this is the goal. The point of all of this isn't to turn you into a vet. It's to help you go from just being a passive owner to being an informed advocate for your pet, someone who can make the best decisions for their unique animal, working together with their vet. And at the end of the day, this is really the core message. You are the one who sees your cat every single day. You know their little quirks, you know their habits, you know what's normal for them. So if something feels off to you, trust that gut feeling. It is so much better to make a call that turns out to be nothing than to ignore a sign that turns out to be everything. And that's really what this all boils down to. This is not about second-guessing your vet or trying to be smarter than them. It's about building a partnership. They bring the medical degree, and you bring the intimate day-to-day knowledge of your cat. And together, you become the team that's going to give your new best friend the longest, healthiest, and happiest life possible.